recipients from the current president of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari, General Dangima, Governor Sanwo-Olu, who's winning it for the second time today, my good friend, the Ekiti State Governor, and Edo State Governor, the Minister of Works. I don't know, for the Minister of Works, the budget you have for works is greater than the budget for all ministers combined since 1960. You must be a very special man. Please give him a big round of applause. And all the other very special people here. You know, as I look into the audience, I see that the world has changed. It's not what it was. It's a different world today. If you look at America, you look at Germany, you look at Great Britain, everybody thinks of themselves. It's no longer about the rest of us. They think of themselves. In the course of my journey over 45 years, I've had the honor and privilege to have met many great people in my life. They've shaped the way I think, the way I function, and how I see life. Everybody here has a story. If you ask Governor Sanwo-Olu about his background, he traveled around the country. That shaped his life. If you ask the Ekiti State Governor, he'll tell you he went to different universities, worked with several governors, and one day he decided, I can do this too. If you ask the Minister of Works, he can tell you his journey. His journey is unique to him. If you ask Alan Oyama, he'll tell you about his journey. Today, I want to tell you about my journey. My journey began when I graduated from the university. I wanted to understand the world. In 1979, we were run by the military for such a long time. We had a 4-year break when Shagari was president. So entertainment did not really exist. It was tough. So the friends I made outside Nigeria. I made them outside Nigeria because I had no choice. Everybody in life wakes up and they want a hero. Now, who could be my hero? Who could be my hero? One man I met. I went to see him. And I said, Champ, I'm going to ask you one question. Tell me how, at 22 years old, you decided, as heavyweight champion of the world, you would not fight unless you had a black manager and a black promoter. You were 22 years old. You barely went to high school. You were willing to fight the United States of America because of your beliefs. You were ready to go to prison because you would not fight the yellow man in Vietnam. And you defied, and for 3.5 years, you couldn't fight because of your beliefs. That man became my hero. We became very good friends to the very end. And then he was champion in 64. And then years went by. And Ali said, I'm pretty. In 64, a black man couldn't say he was pretty. And then in the late 60s, another man I became friends with decided to write a song. When the song was released, he became broke. White America wouldn't buy his records. They wouldn't go to his concerts. They destroyed his career because he did this song. And then, in 1984, my friend and partner Dick Rippey, who owns Solar Records, the two biggest black record companies in the world, but Motown owned by Barry Gordy, and they had the Jacksons, Diana Ross, and the Temptations, and Marvin Gaye, and you had Solar Records. They had Charlemagne, Lakeside, Whispers, Babyface, and so on. One day, he asked me to come to a meeting in Los Angeles, and I sat with them. A young man, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, said he was going to run for President of the United States. At that meeting, Dick Griffey asked for a dictionary. So he brought out a dictionary. He said, Jesse, I'm going to read something to you you probably never thought about. He said, in the dictionary, he went to black. What is the definition of black? In 84, it was dirty, unclean. What is the definition of white? Pure, angelic. And Dick said to Jesse, you're running for President of the United States. We cannot be called black Americans. Black is not a country. In America, you have Polish Americans, German Americans, Mexican Americans, Chinese Americans, Russian Americans. Why are we called black Americans? Black is not a country. We are from Africa. We should be called African Americans. And when he ran in 84 and 88, that is how the term came about. And I was fortunate to be in the room when that decision was made. For Americans, blacks to be called African Americans. And Jesse said something to us that day. He said, if Black America was a country, it was worth $30 billion. It would be the 10th largest economy in the world. When white America found out, they started buying up all black businesses. Then you had Afro Sheep, Proline, you had all kinds of black companies. Everything was lost. They found out that segregation, discrimination was not good business sense. Good business sense is white selling to blacks, black selling to whites. Separation is a bad way of doing business. I'm sure you're all wondering where this is going. In 1986, Jesse gave me a call and he said he wanted a plane to go to the frontline states. So I went to see Professor Bolaji Akiyemi, who was Minister of External Affairs. Babangida was president. They gave us a 737. Jesse flew into Lagos. We met. We flew to all the frontline states, Angola, Mozambique, Botswana. They had just been bombed by South African forces. We went to refugee camps. We saw the misery of Southern Africa. Nigeria always took a principal position to fight for African unity and to support South African freedom. At the border of Gaborone, me, Jesse, and members of the Democratic Party were at the border. We were supposed to meet Winnie Mandela because Mandela was in prison. South African forces turned around, they chased us, and we dispersed. It was a tough trip. We were on. But Nigeria stood with South Africa, regardless of cost. And we did on the end, when Namibia was getting ready to get independence, Babangida put me in a committee to raise money for Namibia. In Lusaka, we met the ANC in exile. All the leaders of the ANC we met in exile, including Sam Nujoma, who later became president of Namibia. And we met a man I loved, the president of Mozambique, Samora Machel. He gave us a great reception. 2 weeks later, South African forces shot down his plane and they killed him. Now, you'll understand where I'm going in a minute. But back home, and I'm telling my story chronologically. Back home, we had a man fighting for our rights, fighting for our freedom, fighting for the dignity of the black man. But we turned against him and we made his life miserable. regardless of where you are. When I was in the Senate, I brought a bill that anybody taken away from Nigeria as a slave through DNA should be entitled to a Nigerian passport. Every single senator voted against that bill. And that was wrong. It was wrong. The French national team is made of black people across Africa. They accept you over there for sports and music. And over here, you can't even accept them to come back home. They were taking away the slaves. Now they say you can't go to the West. When they took us as slaves 400 years ago, they didn't ask you if you had a passport, if you had a visa to go to America. Today they ask you for a passport and a visa. Think about it. You have no use to them today. They don't want you anymore. Years went by. In 2001, I've always believed black is beautiful and we must come together as a people. In 2001, something magical happened in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, 24 years later, a beautiful girl, born in South Africa, raised in South Africa, with a Mozambican mother, country of Samora Michel, that fought a brutal war against South Africa, and a Nigerian father who supported the liberation and freedom of South Africa, woke up one day and said, I would like to be Miss South Africa. All hell broke loose. All of a sudden, nobody remembered the struggles, the fight, the quarrel, the money we spent. They said, no.
Hi everyone, my name is Goldmynetv. I have decided to participate in the Miss Universe Nigeria 2024 beauty pageant.
And you know, that's the irony of life. As Africans, listen to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali said to me, fight for your own kind, support your people, support their peace. Don't run them down, don't insult your people. You have nobody else but your people. Listen to James Brown, you're black and you're proud. Listen to Fela. Stand tall, stick your chest out, raise your head high. Be arrogant. Listen to Jesse Jackson. Did I say Jesse Jackson? I am somebody. I may be black, I may be poor, I may be uneducated, but I am somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, to tell the story, please give a big round of applause to Chidima Adeshina as she comes on stage to tell a story. Big round of applause for her, please.
We sure hope you enjoyed this video. For more entertaining video content such as behind the scenes of music videos and movies, music concerts, premieres, interviews, and exclusive gists, subscribe now to our YouTube channel Goldmynetv and be unleashed into a world of super excitement.